Hello and welcome to Just a Guy with your social educator, your LLB, your loony left bully. That's right, it's me, Mike D, Mike Duckerberg. All right, guys. Okay, here we go. Look at that. Beautiful. All right. We'll make this one quick today as my laptop cord is not with me, so my laptop's going to die soon. So, hope everybody had a good Sunday. Today's topics are going to be Homeland Security pick, Governor Kristi Noem, and then we're also going to talk about what President-elect Trump had to say about the Dreamers. All right. We know that Homeland Security is going to be one of the most important issues that President Trump faces when he comes into office. We can see that they're already loosening the borders. They're using the ICE application to make it even easier to get these illegals across the border. So the Socialist, Marxist, Communist Party is not doing anything to help the U.S. citizens out. So when Governor Noem gets in there, she knows that what she has to do is get fully staffed and get fully staffed like yesterday. All right, Mark. Well, it's good to see you, bud. Sorry to hear you're a little under the weather. I'm glad to see you here, though. Glad to see they did not shadow ban you today. We'll be praying for you, bud. Make sure you're doing better. I'll put you in my prayers tonight, okay? So, Governor Noem, when she steps into office, there is going to be an immediate need to strengthen our federal law enforcement capabilities, okay? There's a huge need for a department in the HHS or Homeland Security is the Homeland Security Investigations, which is HSI. Now, these guys are severely understaffed right now, and what these guys are responsible for are investigating the cartel smuggling, that getting the fentanyl across the borders. They're responsible for human trafficking and exploiting the immigration services. They're also responsible for criminal organizations threatening America's communities. Okay, so this HSI, this Homeland Security Investigations Team, is a very integral, very important piece of Homeland Security. They guys are seriously understaffed right now, which is a big problem. Okay, so in order to get staffed, especially with an agency like this, what you're going to have to do is hire a bunch of people, which doesn't sound bad, right? We're just going to go ahead, we're going to hire people, we're going to train, we'll get them in. Well, here's the problem. Even though, let's say you hired today, they still got to do background checks, and then once the background check is done, then they got to place you into a class. So just because your background check is done in, let's say, a month, you're still waiting for a class, because it's not just going to be you. It's going to be you and 20, 30 other people all at the same time. So when they train you guys, they're not just training one or two people. They're training an entire class that's set to graduate, move on, and become part of the agency. So this hiring process, just to do that, is about, on average, 6 months. So from the day you hired to the day you actually get the first day of training, on average is 6 months. Now you got to go through the basic training portion of it. The basic training portion of the classes, in order for you to train, graduate, and be ready to hit the field, is at least a year. So just for the day you get hired to the time you're actually ready to join the field as a brand new agent for the HSI, we're looking at about 18 months on average, give or take. Some are going to be 24, some are going to be 13, whatever. But on average, it's 18 months. And they're severely short-staffed right now. So this is a problem, guys. And again, they're looking at cartel smuggling fentanyl. They're looking at human traffickers. They're talking about drug cartels and criminal organizations that are here destroying communities. These are not issues that can wait 18 months. They've already waited 4 years under the Harris-Biden administration, and we can see what has gotten us. So Governor Noem has a huge, huge issue when she steps into office. Okay? Now, the good part is, hi Veronica, it is great to see you today. The good part is, there's a proven solution that's ready to go right now. So what it is you can rehire retired federal agents through a program called the Reemployed Annuitant Program. So what this does is, this is any federal agent that worked in that department before can be rehired, and they're ready to go in as little as 2 weeks from the hire date. They've already passed the checks and all that, everything else. They've already been trained. So there's nothing that's going to have them wait. And all they really need, guys, are refresher courses. That's it. They need to take refresher courses on maybe some customs and immigration laws that have changed since the last time they were in. Maybe some firearm refresher courses, depending on what they carried, what they need to carry, blah, 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 blah. And also any sort of tactics that have changed since the last time they were in. So we're looking at 3 basic refresher courses to get them up, ready to go, and in the field. So now you can actually take a bunch of retired HSI employees and within 2 weeks have them ready to go. Now this is a nice temporary solution, right? It's a good Band-Aid for now, because it's not going to be the permanent solution, because as you have these retired HSI employees coming back and working, you're also hiring your next batch that's going to be ready in about 18 months to come in and possibly relieve the retired agents that are once retired agents, now working agents. Okay. So you can staff while you're getting ready to restaff for the future. All right. So this is something that Governor Noem, as the Homeland Security Director, can come in and do right away. All right. Now, a retired HSI supervisor says that his words or her words, it didn't say whether it was male or female. As a retired HSI supervisor, I believe a quick and relatively easy way to plus up border security is to recruit rehired annuitants. The vetting and training process will be quick and cost effective, and the impact of the influx of vast investigative experience would pay immeasurable dividends immediately. So what this retired supervisor is saying is, not only are we going to be able to get these guys in quick, as little as 2 weeks, but because I've already done this for years, 15, 20 years, 30 years, 10 years, whatever the case may be before they retired out, you're looking at all that experience of an agent or agents that know what they're doing already. And nothing to knock the new guys, right? You don't know what you don't know. So while we're training these new agents to come in, you already have experienced agents that can come in right now and start working on these problems. So on top of the expediency and the cost effectiveness of bringing people in right now, you have the vast knowledge and the experience and the wisdom of the retired agents coming back and training and helping and doing whatever else they're doing, right? They can serve as mentors and fill specialized roles that are typically hard to fill, okay? Stay in places like financial investigations, transnational organized crime, and cyber operations, right? See, these are some of the things where the experience and the wisdom and the knowledge and the years of doing it definitely pay off. Because when you're looking at financial investigations, maybe they're familiar with backdoor activity that a new financial investigative agent wouldn't possibly know yet. Again, not knocking the new agent. They just have to see it, have to do it, have to realize it's there. Okay? But they can come in and get this ready. And on top of that, while they're getting these new guys in and they're getting through the refresher courses and everything else, the new guys are out in the big agencies getting trained up and ready to go, while the rehired annuitant agents just go down to their local offices and retrain and get refreshed. They don't have to go anywhere special. They don't have to go to like a training facility or anything. They can go right to their local SAC office and retrain right there. So there's a lot of positive benefits that we're looking at by doing this. Okay. Now there's already other agencies in the federal government that have already done this and have seen this work, and it's worked out very well for them. The Secret Service have done this. They pulled retired Secret Service agents back in the Annuitant program and brought them back, especially for certain areas and certain trying to find the right word for it, but you know what I'm saying, right? Also, the U.S. Capitol Police, they were lacking. So what did they do? They reached into the rehired annuitants and went ahead, and brought them back while they were trained. Because again, all of these systems, the Secret Service, the U.S. Capitol Police, again, you're looking at about 18 months to 2 years by the time they're rehired, go through the background check, get to the class and everything else. We're looking at about 18 to 24 months for each of these agencies. So for them to be able to do this is incredibly office. Yes, Mark, some of them do train in their off time just in case an opportunity arises. Some of them may not be, some of them might be out of shape a little bit. But it depends on what the jobs are, what they still wanted to do. And a lot of these guys, where they're training in their off time, if you're a financial investigator for HSI, more than likely when you went to the private sector, you're probably doing something pretty similar, because there is not a big company out there like a bank or a financial institution, a Schwab or Walmart or whomever, that wouldn't love to have a financial investigator from HSI on the staff looking at things like that, right? Cyber operations. Any major corporation would love to have a guy from the federal government that knows cyber operations on their team. So yes, they probably are still not even just training, but doing their positions in the private sector after they've retired. So it's not going to be a huge step to jump back in besides those couple of quick refresher courses, right? And what's nice is the incentive structure for these guys makes sense too, okay? Because they're coming back, they're serving the country, and they're getting paid. And on top of that, they're still getting their retirement benefits. So this is a win-win situation for them. And again, it's not a permanent solution, because once the new hires have gone through and trained up and they're ready to come to the field, that's when these retired rehires that have been in are going to start a mentorship program too. Because I know you've gone to class, I know you've learned things, and anybody that's been in a trade, if you've been a plumber, an electrician, or whatever the case may be, you know that the schooling is good. It helps you out. You learn the fundamentals, you learn the basics, you know by the book what you should and shouldn't do. But we all know that what's in the book sometimes isn't the best plan once you're actually out in the field, right? There's the book way, then there's the real world way, right? So as these new HSI agents come in, fresh out of the classroom training, with all the new knowledge, ready to go, all gun-ho, let's do this, you can take some of these rehired retirees, have them work with them, mentor them, and go, okay, this is great, here's what you also need to know. Here's how we do it in the real world. And get them that extra training and learning from the experience of these retired rehires. And then once that's done, they can step down and retire again. Or maybe at that point in time, they're put into a different supervisory position and continue to mentor and train. So this rehired retiree annuitant program definitely could help out HSI and get everything back on track. And this is actually available, guys. That's something that Governor Noem, as a Homeland Security Director, could implement on day one. Right? So when you walk it backwards a little bit, and you had the border's Kamala Harris try to say that the Republicans sabotaged the border because President Trump called all his friends and said, please don't vote for this bill. And the bill I'm referring to, which should have properly been labeled, the the Ukraine aid bill or the foreign aid bill, because there was only $20 billion of that $120 billion went to the border. The other $100 billion went to the Ukraine and other foreign entities for wars and everything else. But when they were trying to blame it on the Republicans, President Biden, APM Joe, the border czar Kamala Harris, they could have done this. They could have implemented the retiree annuitant program. They could have done this already and had people already staffed there and ready to go and start closing the borders if they really wanted to. But we know President Trump-elect coming in, having Governor Kristi Noem come in, implements this, and I guarantee you're going to see this implemented on day one when she walks in. Again, it's a temporary solution with the permanent solution coming behind it as they hire new agents. Okay? We should all return our replacements right away. Right? But the problem is we don't train our replacements right away, because a lot of us in the workplace think that when you're training somebody, that they're going to be better than you and you're going to lose your job. Right? Look at the wussification of America over the past couple of decades. Right? They used to tell you that when you get to your job, don't dress for the position you have, dress for the position you want. You don't hear that anymore. It's hard enough to get people to even dress up. I mean, now you have the federal government telling people that they need to actually go back and come to the office and go to work. And they're ready to quit over it. Because a lot of these federal agencies, guys, that are complaining about this, the way this works is they have to report to their office one day every 30 days. A lot of these places, not everyone, but a lot of these agencies still have the COVID policy in place, the scandemic policy in place, where you only have to be in the office one day a month. That's it. So what do? They do is they come in on the very last day of, let's say, December. Well, December's a horrible month. Let's go to January. Let's say they come in on the very last day of January. So that's the day they showed up in January. Then they come in the very last day of February, or the very first day of February. So they come in back-to-back days, and then they don't have to come back to the office until the very last day of March. So it's like, peace, I'll see you in 60 days. They work 2 days in the office back-to-back, and then they come and they show back up 60 days later for 2 days in the office. That's the mentality of these people, guys. So in order for somebody to come in and train their replacement, that's the furthest thing from them right now. They just want that free money. That's all they want. And if you train somebody to do a job that obviously you're not doing in the first place, you're going to be sitting at home unpaid, not sitting at home paid. But I agree, especially these field agents, they should be training their replacements right away, right from the day they get in. Because honestly, the way that I look at it is, if I'm training Agent Joe behind me, and I'm an experienced agent, and I'm training Agent Joe to come in, and I want Agent Joe to replace me, because I want my superiors to look at me and go, man, Agent Zuckerberg, he's trained Agent Joe, he's trained Agent Susie, he's trained Agent J, he's trained Agent L, whatever. I'm all of a sudden the Men in Black, just so you guys know now, right? But I'm looking to train all these people, all these replacements, because I'm thinking that my superiors are going to notice and go, man, Agent D, Agent Zuckerberg, he's a trainer. We're bumping him up. We're going to put him up at the top of the ladder now. And instead of worrying about the person replacing me, I'm going to impress my superiors so that I can move up the ladder. But that's not how it is anymore. Right? No, that is the right way. No, I read it right there, Mark, but I'm saying, no, in reality, that's not the way it is. No, exactly. You are right, though. That's 100% the right way. So I'm kind of interested to see what Governor Kristi Noem does when she gets in. You can almost guarantee that she is going to take the retired rehire annuitant program, put it in action for HSI, and start to get the border shut down. along with the Borders on Tom Homeland. I think that's going to make a great, great team. And speaking of the border, everybody here is talking about President-elect Trump as a dictator. He's going to just kick everybody out. If you're an immigrant, you're gone, right? We've all heard of dreamers. Right? What is a dreamer? A dreamer is an undocumented immigrant who's come to America as a U.S. child and has stayed in the United States much of their lives, okay? Not the children that were born here like 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago or 2 years ago. These are children that were born in America and they've lived the majority of their lives here, and they're now pretty much adults. Those are dreamers, okay? President Trump actually sat down in an NBC interview and with Meet the Press on Sunday. And he said that he's willing to work with the Democrats to keep the dreamers in the United States. So this dictator that's going to do all these mass deportations to any and all immigrants is willing to sit down with the Socialist, Communist, Marxist Party and say, hey, I'm willing to keep the dreamers here in the U.S. Doesn't sound like much of a dictator. And in President Trump's own words from that interview, he says, I will work with the Democrats on a plan, and if we can come up with a plan, but the Democrats have made it very, very difficult to do anything. Republicans are very open to the dreamers. So not just President-elect Trump, but other Republicans. They're like, look, we're willing to work with you here with the dreamers. But see, that's not what the Socialist, Marxist, Communist Party wants to portray out there, because they keep calling President Trump a Nazi. They keep calling him not a communist, but a dictator. They keep saying that he is the worst thing since Hitler. He's going to destroy America, blah, 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 blah. He's going to, kill your kids. And I got to take away women's rights. This is just this is Satan walking, right? So they don't want people to know that President Trump is actually trying to work with the Socialist, Marxist, Communist Party to actually keep the dreamers here in the United States. And President Trump goes on to explain why he's willing to do this. He's willing to do this because he says, and I'm paraphrasing, dreamers have good jobs. They've even started their own businesses and have become very successful here in the United States. So he's recognizing that these dreamers that have been here for years, and they're actually producing. They own their own small businesses. They're getting good jobs, and they're working, and they're being functional, and they're parts of society. Now, he does want them to become naturalized citizens, okay? But they're already successful. They're helping the United States out. Now if you're criminal is different, but he's willing to work and keep these dreamers here because a lot of them are doing a good job. Okay? And he goes on, he does want many of the dreamers to stay in the United States. And this is even according to CNN, the Created News Network. Even the Created News Network, CNN, is admitting that President Donald Trump wants to allow the dreamers to remain in the United States. Right, exactly. Productive members of society. Exactly, Mark. It's why he wants them to stay here. So when you have NBC News on Meet the Press, President Trump himself goes on there and says it. CNN, the Created News Network, is acknowledging it. But yet, you're not hearing it from the rest of the mainstream media. Again, because this is nothing that the Democrats, the Socialists, the Communist, Marxist Party doesn't want you to know. That's why they're being very difficult to work with. Because just like they lied about President Trump and the Republicans killing the Border Patrol bill, which we already know isn't a Border Patrol bill, they want to say that, nope, President wants to throw everybody out. He doesn't care. See, because unlike the Socialist Marxist Party, President Trump actually cares about people. The only thing the Socialist Communist Marxist Party cares about is power. And that is it. That is all they care about. Again, you can see it in everything they do. They let illegal murderers over here, illegal sexual assaultists, right? Illegal pedophiles, right? You got the mayor of Denver covering up and trying to hide and stand behind the Venezuelan gang. He would rather have those people in his city than their own citizens. They don't care about your life. Not at all. So this is not out of their rule, out of the rule book, out of the playbook for them to try to push aside and make very difficult and have any sort of knowledge to the masses that President Trump is actually willing and actually pushing for the dreamers to stay here in the United States. All right. So, now President Trump did reiterate he still plans on ending birthright citizenship. So if you did sneak over here and you just had a child, guess what? You're gone. Okay. It is what it is. Right. That's just the way it goes. So, and President Trump has not backed down from going after the illegal immigrants. Let's make that clear. He is still holding his word, saying that he is still going after all the illegal murderers, the drug addicts, the child traffickers, the pedophiles, all those. They're all going to be deported. So he's still a man of his word. He's prioritizing. Can't even talk. He's prioritizing, and he's going after the bad guys, and he's allowing the good people like the Dreamers to stay. All right. Now, on some positive news, I like to end as many episodes as I can with positive news. Speaking of President Trump and his agenda and his policies and his mandate, there was actually a study from Rasmussen Reports, which is a polling agency. They polled almost 1,300 voters. It was 1,291 voters. And 55% of the voters said that Trump's victory is also a victory for his agenda. So he does have a mandate. They believe that 55% of the Americans believe that President Trump has a mandate, has every right to push his agenda through on the economy, on the illegal immigration, on securing the borders, on tariffs, right? So this Rasmussen report shows that a majority of America wants President Trump to continue with his agenda. 32%, they don't agree. Okay, that's your loony left. That makes sense. Obviously, they can't define what a woman is. They yell at you when you're trying to stop them from killing babies. Even one guy today on my TikTok account, they yelled at me because I said that a marriage is a union between a husband, a wife, and God. And then he yelled at me because that God doesn't exist and I need to prove it, yada, yada, yada. So the loony left, of course they're not going to agree, right? And the 13% that are left, they're unsure. Like, you know what? Not quite sure here. But in the end, 55% of the voters say, drill, baby, drill. Let's do that mass deportation of all the illegal criminals, all the illegal immigrants. Let's fix the economy. Let's fix the border. 55% of American people believe in you, President Trump. And like I said before, he doesn't have 4 years to do this, guys. He's got 2. That's it. Midterms are in 2026. Historically, midterms do not go well for presidents because they make a bunch of promises and the American people don't see those promises kept, and they go ahead and start voting away from the president oftentimes. So what you need to do, Mr. President, we need to get those thoughts under control, those fake-ass Republican traitors. We need to get those people out, or at least under control, and get your agenda pushed through now. Not next year, not 2 years from now, not 3 years from now, now. Because in 2026, if it doesn't happen, we're going to see a huge recall in conservative votes going back towards the other way. We don't want that. So you got this mandate right now. 55% of people, Mr. President, believe that you have every right to get your agenda accomplished. Make it happen, Mr. President. I'm behind you. All my social educators behind you. 55% of America is behind you. He's looking to do a great job right now with all of his picks and the people he's got in place and doing things the way he's doing it. He's already got changes going on in the Middle East. He's got changes going on in Russia. He's got just stuff that's happening, and he's not even taken office yet. So keep it up, Mr. President. 2 years. That's all we got, pal. Let's just do it. And right, a lot of this has to be done within the first month, right? And we're not going to solve everything, but we need to see that progress starting right away. Guys, I say this every single time. We need to keep growing our social educators. We're starting an army of social educators, guys. That's what you guys are. You guys are the army of social educators. We need this army to grow. The beautiful thing about this army, unlike the U.S. military, we don't have no woke generals. What we have are fact finders. We have soldiers out there from the social educators that are willing to take the loonies' left words and use them against them. And we also have our army of social educators that are just out there defending the United States against the loony left. We need to go out there, educate. I give you guys facts. I give you guys knowledge. You guys give me facts and knowledge as well. I learn just as much from you as you do from me. That's the beautiful thing here. We educate each other. Let's go out, continue to educate everybody else. Let's grow this army. Let's go tenfold, 100-fold. I would like to be sitting in this chair 6 months from now, talking to 100,000 people. You guys can make that happen. I believe in each and every one of you. Go on Rumble. Like and subscribe. Especially subscribe. Go on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Those are the big two. You can go on Facebook like you hear right now. Share it. Make sure everybody sees it. Instagram, True Social, all those other ones. Put it out there. Grow, grow, grow. Exactly, Seda. We want this army of social educators to be a driving force. Proud of each and every one of you. I love what you've done so far. Man, you guys are killing it. You guys are allowing me to continue to do this. This is really what I like to do. I look forward to this as often as I do it. I look forward to this each and every time. You can ask my wife. Absolutely love doing this for you guys. Let's continue to do it. Let's make it grow. Rumble, YouTube, like, subscribe. On Rumble, it's Just the Guy, Mike D. On YouTube, it's Just the Guy. Until next time, I will see you Tuesday. Love each and every one of you. You know I'm going to pray for you guys. Until Tuesday, Mike Duckenberg out.